Hello, guys. We are back with a DGM GTC RTR Return to Ravnica block draft. Um, okay, we are starting off with a Dragon's Maze draft here, and we're gonna look into our cards. We have our rare, which is Flesh and Blood, which is not too bad. Um, Give and Take, and then Fair Enemies for our uncommons. There's a Rat Farm Skeleton, but I'm not really familiar on how to use that. I think I'm just gonna take the flesh and blood here. There are some really notable cards, which is Obulsar Gatekeepers. Rat Farm is also okay, but I'm just gonna take the flesh and blood here because it acts as a removal. And we might go Gruul at some point. And by the way, okay, let me see here first. Uh, let's see. There's a catch and release, which is okay. Bread for the Hunt, Jalen Speaks is quite a nice card if you were gonna go the blue-white flyers. And there's also a Viashino First Blade, which is fine. Uh, Rubble Belt Maaka. But I think I'm just gonna go for the Punish the Enemy here. It's not really much, but it's a straight out removal. And either that or the Fatal Fumes here, which is also solid. Given that we have an inclination to red at some point, and I probably just take the punish the enemy here. Scab Clan Giant is okay. However, I find it a little bit expensive at the moment. But yeah, it can be a good 2 for 1 if you know if you can play around that. But I'd rather take just a removal here. Okay, let's see here. We have a Bronze Big Moa, which is awesome. Right Control, Deputy of Acquittals is also nice. Blast of Genius is really good, but it's kind of slow at the moment. But if you happen to resolve it, really, and find a way to build your card or deck around it, then it's really gonna be very beneficial. Let's see here. It works well when you're doing a lot of ramping, lot of those things. But I'd rather take a more conservative pick here, which is the Bronze Big Moa. It has worked really well for me, and I don't really regret taking it here. So we might just go Gruul or a Boros with a Gruul Selesnya type of team. But let's just see what's being passed here to us. So Gruul continues to be open, but we're seeing a lot of removals and a lot of quality cards being passed with for black as well. Um, Maaka should be a good pick here. Mm, this is nice actually, but I'm not really sure if we're gonna be picking that. Um, my personal choice here would be a Zurta Druid. This is quite an okay card. It helps you ramp. It's a good 2 drop, and at the same time, it works like a extort. It somehow works like an extort mechanism, or at least at some point it can ping those enemies of yours really hard. Mm, Nothing much here for us. There's a Rakdos Drake, and again, we're receiving the signal that we are black is particularly open. But given that red and we've received a few good red cards here, and sticking to red wouldn't be much as bad. So what I think here, we're not gonna pick up the Drake. Gleam of Battle is okay, but it's really slow for an aggressive deck. So I probably take this Melt Ward Gatekeepers. But at this point, I'm not sure how much of Guild Gates will be picking up. So I'd rather just take a mana fixer here and then pass this one. If at some point we table it, then fine. But without the guarantee of getting a lot of guild gates, then I'll probably just pass it. Another set of black cards, or is this the ones that we have just picked earlier? I'm not too sure, but at this point we might just start picking some creatures, and I do believe the Maaka is our pick here. Okay, let's do that. All right. For this case, red still big. Red still displays openness at the moment, and if I am gonna pick and sort our converted mana cost here, I'd probably just take a safe Boros Mastiff. Wolf Rider is alright. It's a nice curve topper, but we can find a lot of those the succeeding pack. A lot of those meaning not Wolf Rider itself, but a lot of pretty okay curve toppers as well. I'm gonna prioritize the two drop here, just so that we don't end up grasping two drops at the latter part of the game. Maze Rusher is alright, but I'll rather pick a Boros Gilgate at this point. Phyto Burst has its applications, but not really looking forward to doing that at the moment. So let's just do a Boros Gilgate here. Nothing here really. There's a Morg Burst, but I'm not really sure how effective that is. There are a few clue stones. I don't want to be hate drafting it. I'd like to help out whatever Azurius or Egypt players are playing there because I don't want to be competing with the other players anyway. So let's just take the Mutant Prey. It may have some applications, it may not. But let's try to take that. Or yeah, it can work quite well for us at some point. There's nothing here. There's a catch and release, which really intrigues me, but I don't really see us playing a is it here. So what we can do is take a Maze Behemoth, or just go on a low curve here, which is uh, a pretty fine strategy, and we might just take this Viashino. It's within our color requirement anyway. There's a Drown and Field, which is quite okay card. You just have to build around it in order for it to be effective. But I'll take our on color right control here. Drown and Field is okay. It pretty much works like a Death Approach, but yeah, nothing here. Clear the path. Clear a path. Hmm. I'll probably just take the Wake the Reflections here. The reason being, at some point we might get some good populate cards or populate enablers. Then this might help us out. Definitely gonna take the Gruul Keystone here among other Keystone, and a Clear a Path. Okay, that isn't so bad. We are picking a few more cards here. So our first few picks, not really exciting, not really bad as well. But let's see what we got here on our second pack. There is a pit fight which might work well with us, but there's an experiment one also. Now I am so given that we have a couple of removal here, I might just take the experiment one and then let's see how good it's gonna be for us. Pit fight is quite a conservative pick there. Massive raid, not really. It's quite conditional. You need to build your board. But given that we have an aggressive board here, this might work for us. However, A Rascarab is also great. Now, I've mentioned this on my previous drafts. This format has a lot of really strong enchantments, but I'd rather take a low curve experiment one at the moment, and then let's just see where we go from there. I'm not really worried about not taking the pit fight because we have a couple of removal that can help us out, and it doesn't really blank us on being scarce with removal. Um, okay, nothing here aside from the Fire Fist Striker and the Scorch Walker. Um, there is a Daring Skyjack which might also work for us. Uh, so it's gonna be between the Fire Fist Striker and then the Daring Skyjack, but that gives us a signal that we are definitely gonna be doing an aggressive deck here. At this point in time, I might just take the Daring Skyjack. It could be wrong, but I am pretty okay with this compared to the striker. They both will require battalion. This one will nullify one of the defender or the opponent's creatures, but this one is evasive. Both of them has somewhat pretty much same application, but I'd rather take the more high power Daring Skyjack for the purposes of trading within the game. Okay, let's see here. There's a Hellraiser Goblin, which is good for aggressive decks such as ours if we happen to decide that we are gonna go aggressive. There is also a Disciple of the Old Ways. Night Watch, not really looking forward to pick that at this point. There are some cards from what do you call this? There are cards from Simic that is being passed. So I'm not really sure. Do we want to go Simic at this point, which will lead us to a red, green, blue instead of red, green, white. Although we did pick some um, quality, not really quality, but pretty decent white cards here already. So shifting to Simic that time would be not really beneficial for us. Unfortunately, nothing here. So we probably just take this Screecher because I just don't want to be dealing with this. I'm pretty ground heavy, so let's just take that. I don't normally do hate drafts, but that just don't want to be dealing with a Screecher there. So Simic still shows its openness. Unfortunately, we're a little deep now, and we've passed a few Simic cards already. We might take the adaptive snapshot, or just given the aggressiveness that we are looking to display here, I think we're just gonna take this bomber core. Nothing here as well. There's an Zorta Swine, but there's a Boros Elite. And really, there's a Gruul Charm as well. I'm really torn between the Charm Elite and Swine. We don't have a huge creature at the moment, and Swine is a pretty good addition. But I hate to be passing a Boros Elite here. I'd rather prioritize the creature because the creature count is one of the things I'd like to um, monitor. We'll probably take a few more decent tricks in the form of those Gruul charms and the like in the next pack. Nothing here. Probably just take this Corpse Blockade. Shattering Blow is okay. Boros Gilgate is fine. So we have a choice here. We can take a Curve Topper Towering Thunder Fist, or just a plain huge creature in the form of a ruination worm. But I think I'd rather just take the Gate here. On our second pack, there are a lot of big guys. There are even vigilance ones that are at almost the same casting cost as your Ruination Worm. And curve toppers shouldn't be hard to find as well on the next pack. So still a display of good cards here. Do we take the Ivy Lane Denizen and start prioritizing white creatures? That's a good sign there. But if we go conservative, let's just take the Bomber Core and add to our two drops, which is not really a bad plan for me. I'm just gonna take the Bomber Core here. If at some point we don't draw enough white creatures, then it's not really gonna the Denizen is not really gonna work for us. Happy to take this beacon operation. It has its application and ambushing um, one toughness flyers, corpse blockade, psychic strike probably, or burst of rain. If you notice here, the more hurting card would be the purge because we are quite fast and it's easy to deplete our hand at some moment. And if we decide to hide a quality card on our hand, then Purge of the Profane could just really do it for us. So I just cut that, but it doesn't really matter because these are the um, more late cards now. So there it is. We have quite an aggressive deck, but nothing really spicy going on there. So I'm hoping to um what do you call this? I'm hoping to just seal it out or close it out with a good deck here. Unfortunately, I don't really see any good cards for us at the moment. There's an Axbane Guardian if we decide to ramp, but that I don't really see us doing ramp with all those small creatures that we do or we have, and that I'm probably just gonna take Keening Apparition. Um, Gonna say it again. This format has a lot of strong enchantments, namely the we've seen from the previous Great Crash. There's some really good enchantments. There are even in the Return to Ravnica, there's the return of the Knightly Valors, return of Stab Wound, and even on Dragon's Maze, we have that enchantment that gives lifelink and trample at the same time. So having an enchantment killer there would be quite okay. There's a Liev Sky Knight, which is kind of sad to pass. Um, Nothing here aside from a Armory Guard and a Towering Indrik. Between choosing between the two of them, I'd rather take the Towering Hindrick here because we don't really have much ways to deal with flyers, and that could be our weakness. So we're just gonna take the Hindrick here. Hopefully, we can take a few evasive guys. Azurius Charm. So Azurius seems to be open at the moment. This one is a four cost sorry four to cast 3/3 creature that has trample. Not really gonna take this. Although the scavenge is kind of sweet. The Stanish Judgment is okay, but at this point, I don't think I'm gonna be doing this. There's an Annihilating Fire and a Brush Strider. I hate to be passing the Brush Strider because it's really good on our curve, but we just need one solid card again in the form of Annihilating Fire. I'm pretty confident to pick this because we have such red sources that we in the form of gates, so I don't really see us having problems casting two colors. Although at this format, if you don't have enough gates to support you, in the form of red or other colors that you plan to play, it's not really gonna work. I don't really advise picking up those two color mana costed creatures or spells. Okay, Axebane Stag, like just like a Ruination Worm there, pretty easier to cast, but it's higher in toughness. Although definitely I'm gonna take the Arrestor here, just for core purposes. This is really sad. Azorius has really been open. There's a Concordia Pegasus, and there's also a Stonefair Crocodile. I'm leaning to take the Crocodile here. Pegasus we might just need, but at this point, not really sure. We're really weak on flyers against flying creatures here. So it might be worth taking a Pegasus, but just gonna take this Stonefair for now. Train Caracal. Okay. Explosive Impact is definitely gonna be our pick here. Pursuit of Life is alright. It can help out, but we don't have a blue mana to just wreck our opponent with flying. So the Pursuit of Light here. We're just looking for a big creature who can be our curve topper here. Not really gonna do this. 11 constant creature is not an ideal curve topper for us. Although I'll be happy to take either of these three. Cobble Brute probably the top, uh, being the uh, most preferred out of them. There's an Ethereal Armor, but we don't have really other enchantments to go with it. There's a Druid's Deliverance, but we don't have tokens. So Cobble Brute could just be our curve topper here. And there's another Explosive Impact, which I don't really mind picking. I'm pretty happy to just get this, although it's kind of expensive, but at some point you really need um, you really need something to just kill your enemy. Uh, Nothing really here actually. I'm I'm leaning to take this Horncaller's chant and just call it quits. We didn't get the Ruination Worm or an Axebane Stag just to. But anyway, either that or we just take this Shred Freak, which is kind of okay, but not really the ideal. Horncoller's Chant, is it your time now? Not really. I'll probably just take the Armory Guard here, given that we do have some guild gates. Tenement Crusher. Tenement Crusher is fine. There's a Bellows Lizard. We really decide to slug it out, but let's just take the Tenement Crusher. At least we're guaranteed of a curve topper there, but not really exciting. Although there's our friend Axbane Stag and few Sphere of Safety. Okay. Okay. Um, not really a promising deck. We don't have bombs. We weren't able to pick up the bombs. Most of the bombs on the third pack were Azurius, which kind of hurt because if had we gone the Simic route, then we had definitely benefit at some point there. But anyway, I don't really feel bad doing or drafting our deck. So let's see what we're gonna use here and what we're gonna cut. So we need to make 6 cuts. in order for us to run 17 lands and then 23 other non-land spells or creatures. Okay, do we want to take out the Shred Freak? Because it's really mana intensive there, but let's just set it aside here. Arrestor's good, Mastiff, most of our creatures are small. So, let's set aside, let's do this first. There's an Axebane Stag, so we're gonna have to choose between the Stag and the Tenement Crusher. We have Cobble Brute already, which is a turn earlier than the Crusher. Crusher is a low on the pretty low on the toughness there compared to the Stag. However, is a turn earlier than Stag. But given that we have a blood here, we might just be able to benefit of our Stag there. But playing this blood would require us to use the or play or have the Stag on the field already. So that's not really promising because our creatures here are kind of small. So it's either that we'd be able to bring down a creature while Bronzebeak is in play and then do this thing, or something like yeah, it's probably gonna do a little more than that. So what do we want to do here is we just need to pick one of these guys. Given that we're gonna be attacking at the most, I think I'll just take the Crusher here. It might be the wrong pick there, but or the wrong cut, but should be okay. Riot Control, not really sure. It's quite a conditional card. We might just bring in later. The Stag, I'll swap with the Tenement Crusher if I find myself really needing some huge blocker during the late games. But definitely we'll be tapping most of our creatures during our turn. So hopefully we can do some damage. Clear a path would definitely help. We don't have enough stuff here to push our creatures through if should there be some really solid blocker on his end. Lief's degree also might be in the consideration if we do find ourselves having some problems pushing through. All right. So the question is, do we want to bring in the Shred Freak? So at 26 lands, we have slot for 14 other lands. Sorry, at 26 playables, and 3 lands, we have 14 other lands that we can bring in. So we do have a removals. However, it's not gonna be coming out until the later part of the game. And if we visit our current situation here, we're looking at early whites, not really early greens, and then it balances out here, early reds as well. So I think the more dominant color that we just chose is reds, followed by white. Okay, so we're gonna need some early reds and early whites. Our green is only gonna fall either with Experiment 1 and Zerta a Druid. So let's see here. What's the suggestion? Definitely not gonna play a black. 3 forest is a little steep for me. Probably 5 forest would do. And definitely gonna bring down some mountains here because we technically have 6 white sources, 8 red sources, and then 5 green sources, which doesn't really sound that bad. I think that should be fine. The only double colored or double mana spell we have was Annihilating Fire. We didn't really risk bring in the Shred Freak anymore. So yeah, I think that should be okay. Hopefully it works. We only have 5 mana sources, 5 green sources, I mean, and then 6 whites. So all in all, it's 17 lands. Oh, it's 16 actually. So if we are gonna bring in some addition, I'm not gonna bring in some forest, but I'll probably bring in a plane, which kind of give me a more solid peace of mind there because definitely we're gonna start um, bringing down a lot of white creatures at the early stages of the game. So let's review again: one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 white sources, 3, 5, 8 red sources, and then 5 green sources. It sounds fair to me because most of our cards it's not gonna require us much of green apart from the experiment one here. So I think this is it. Hopefully uh we can have some fun there. At least some fun. I'm not really looking into winning. I'm not really looking into spending much time uh always winning. I'm just here to identify what are the mistakes I made and at the same time ask possibly ask our viewers to give me some tips on how to become a good better drafter. That being said, let's submit this and let's wait. We'll see you guys for round 1.